I may be interested in, you know, what's the ratio of total current assets. So relative to its total assets, firm has become more liquid. Not by much, but a little bit. Okay. Now let's download similar statements for uh, Disney, even though they're not exactly in the same business, because Netflix doesn't have any theme parks. They're in similar businesses. Let's. Um, I'm gonna look at the amended. Let's look at the original one. Sometimes companies realize that they should have treated certain accounting things differently, and they do amended statements. But I'm gonna look at just the unamended one. If you see, Disney actually has a fiscal year that ends at the end of September. Why? I don't know. Go ask Disney people. So technically, to make a comparison, I should have calculated 12-month numbers as of uh, what you want to call December, but we're not going to worry about it. This is Disney 2023, 10K. I'm not going to use it to make a direct comparison except for income statements. Now, these guys are calling it statements of income. Did I tell you what the meaning of consolidated statements? If you have subsidiaries, you put them all together. Okay. So let's see. I'm going to take these and paste it here, and I'm going to make this common size. As you can see, these the numbers are in millions, not in thousands. That's total revenue, so I can do that. Take the item, divide it by total revenue, 1, 2. It is not terribly surprising that that's 100%. Do you know why these things say value? Normally, a blank cell in Excel has default value of 0, but those cells are not blank. There's a space in them. So it's like taking a text and dividing by a number. But that's useful so that we can get rid of these stuff. I am especially interested in I'm going to actually add a number here because certain firms do this. This is gross profit, which is revenues minus. Actually, they're doing it in different ways. So let's not do it. I'm interested in that number and make it a bit bigger. That's essentially the overhead, right? Selling general and administrative expenses. So over time, at least since 2021, what has been going on with Disney? That number is going down. I mean, given the context, that makes sense. 2021 was essentially COVID years. Obviously, they didn't get much money from their theme park business, but the overhead itself doesn't change that much. So relative to their revenues, it was higher. But if I had this for a lot of different things, uh, you can actually put in inline graphs. If you say insert line, and that's my data range, it puts a little chart in there. You know, for three numbers, that's not terribly exciting or informative. But if you had 20 of those years, you could basically see everything in pretty much one line. I don't have to create a separate sheet to see that chart. You know, if you want to say even more, you can, but at least kind of at a first glance, oh, it's going down, it's going up. Of course, these are in, you know, uh, it's from present to past. And nice thing about these, you can actually copy and paste them. It's as if they're formulas. They're rather useful stuff. Anytime you can actually use charts to tell a story, it's a lot more efficient. One, when you have a table that has 300 numbers in it, it's not easy to catch the listeners or viewers' attention, but everybody gets charts. Back when I defended my dissertation at UK, my dissertation was about over 200 pages, including everything. Once you're done, you have to make a presentation to your committee and the public. You're basically defending it. And your committee has to approve that, okay, you deserve to have a PhD. Typical PhD student would have at least 50 slides in their presentation. I call that death by PowerPoint. They put in 2-minute details on tables and stuff. My defense had 15 slides and 8 of them were pictures. But I can tell a lot of stories in pictures. You know, plus, typically you have 5 people in your committee. Obviously, your principal advisor has read the whole thing, otherwise, he would never allow you to defend it. But the others, theoretically, they're supposed to have read it, but you know they haven't. Maybe the number 2 guy has, but the other 3, no. You don't want to give those guys a reason to start questioning you on unimportant stuff. You want the conversation to be. This is not just PhD dissertation. Anytime you make a presentation, you want the audience to talk about the stuff you find important. Once you give them the control, you're dead, or you could be dead. It's going to be really a defense now, but you need to be on the offense. This is what I've done. Isn't it beautiful? And if you present it in a understandable, concise way, they're going to say, yeah, it's beautiful. Once you have 50 slides, by definition, you're starting ugly, and it's going to get even uglier. I've seen very brilliant students in their dissertations to be destroyed in those defenses because it's about communication and understanding human weaknesses. Because some of those people see, oh, it's my job to find something to object here, so I'm going to do it. So don't give them a reason to. As you can see, if you went to Netflix and their income statements, Where is that income statement? They're a little bit different, okay? But at a minimum, I'm going to just calculate just as cost of revenues, or for comparison purposes, general and administrative. I'll leave it to you to fill out the rest. It looks like they're pretty much stable. That also kind of makes sense. Netflix doesn't have any terrestrial business. It's all online. So they were not affected by COVID in that sense. In fact, their revenues have actually increased quite a bit. So suddenly, I see that overhead is a lot less in Netflix compared to Disney. Okay, we won't spend too much time on that. Uh, let's look at the other types of financial ratios. It's basically four groups. One of them are solvency ratios. These could be short term or long term.